Hey, he's shooting. I got you.
This is the Air 101 footage, slowed down, that shows the suspect firing the gun towards deputies as he flees the scene.
Gun's behind his back.
Morgan's got it.
Shooter down.
One down.
He's up, walking eastbound towards you guys, ducking between the trees, trying to get a better look. Walking eastbound towards 33. He's just one row south. Tech team's moving up to make contact now. Tech team wants to make contact.
I got a GS-70 to the right arm. Left arm. Where are you shot?
On my stomach.
Your stomach?
Yeah, my stomach.
Get the shirt off.
Oh my God, help me, please help me. Oh, it hurts so bad, my stomach.
Conduct the search of his lower half, please.
Ow. Ow.
We're going to render aid as soon as possible.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Shots Fired Podcast Body Cam Breakdown. Today's episode is going to come out of Stanislaus County here in Northern California, not too far from us, when a guy decides to break into a house, steal a firearm, go steal some beer, get in a car chase with the deputies, and gets in a shootout, and ultimately ends up getting shot, survives, and arrested. Let's break this video down and talk about it. A lot of good things happen in this video. We want to thank today's sponsor, TAC Ops. Make sure you guys go to tacticalconference.com, get signed up for one of the 3 conferences they have every year, Nashville, Washington, D.C., and New York. In 2024, Mark and I will be at the DC and New York conference teaching our patrol survival tactics. We hope to see you all there. Tacticalconference.com.
So this is a violent crime spree across Stanislaus County, and it starts with this guy that's probably high and drunk or both, goes to the house, kicks the front door open, gets lucky as he's stumbling around in this person's home and finds a gun and a holster, ends up leaving, sleeping it off someplace, and then continues this crime spree. He basically does a home invasion. Well, it is a home invasion. And he gets the homeowner and holds him at gunpoint. But you can see in the video, look at this guy as he's walking around. He's holding it like close to his chest.
Yeah.
He's looking around like he's looking behind him. Like he's paying attention to what's happening around him.
Get over here. Try and keep some wall. Can we get shoes to get that picture right there? They're all back. I guess we'll get it. Can I get my shoes? Right now. Go ahead. You're good, civilian. Call the cops. And call the cops if you're dead. I'm active military. First Battalion, Second Corporal, United States Military. You'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. Just keep right now, son. Right now. Don't even switch. You're fine, man. Military. You're fine. Your son's gonna be fine. Stay. Grandma, take the dog. Come on there, girl.
Yeah, it says he's active military, and this guy's never done a day in the military. And I mean, look at the way his actions of like, dude, he has like put himself back in Vietnam or something crazy. Yeah, he's obviously not in the right headspace, so we're not sure what tactics he's using, but
Video game tactics, probably.
Definitely watching too many video games or videos or YouTube videos. Yeah, holds the homeowner at gunpoint. The homeowner was like telling, whoever's on the other side of the camera to call the cops, and he's like, if you call the cops, you're dead. So, that's got to be terrifying as a homeowner, just minding your own business. And then this whack job shows up, points a gun at you, and freaking steals his truck. So he hands over the keys to the truck and then decides to go to the mini mart with the gun attached to his hip. Like he's, I don't know, like he's a cop or
something like that. Like he
owns it.
He was very confident and made it. He did not conceal it. Like he exposed his gun. He wanted people to see it.
Yeah.
And then marches in like, this is my shop. I own it and no one else is here. And I liked how he grabbed a beer.
The world's shittiest beer.
Yeah.
Miller High Life.
And then he grabs a second one. And then I think he realizes I don't want that beer. And he puts it back and then grabs the banquet beer and pulls it out and just starts walking tucks it under his arm, and then sees these kids come in, and then he like puts his hand on the gun like he's legitimately a cop, like protecting it, and just walks right on out. Doesn't make any attempt to even wave or hide, just like those people never even existed, and put one of the cases in the back of his truck, put the other one in the front, got in it, like, all right, I'm set. Good to go.
He's got to have his road sodas. So yeah, this dude's clearly not in the right headspace. He's acting quite peculiar. And we know how you boys roll up there in Stanislaus County. I mean, if you didn't know any better, that might not be odd to see a guy, with a beard and normal clothes with a gun, right? Like maybe an undercover deputy or something up there. But yeah, this dude was pretty confident stealing that beer.
I even think the employees that were working there respected that confidence, because they just stood there like, oh, okay, all right, well, taking the beer. Yeah,
the teller wasn't having it though. She called the cops, which is what got deputies en route over to find him. They track him down in the victim's truck that he stole, and a pursuit happens. And that's where you guys can see here in the video, the helicopter ends up showing up and, videos this entire thing, the whole play out, the helicopter's there. So luckily, because the air unit plays a pretty vital role when this turns into a shootout. So they're in a car chase with him. He ends up, I don't know if he got spike stripped or he ends up just crashing here into the field, and he decides to get out and run into the orchard. Now, most of you probably haven't been in this part of Northern California, but I mean, it's pretty rural. It's wide open. I mean, there's a lot of land and stuff out there. And, had he just kept running, I mean, I'm sure they would have been able to lock down that, acreage or whatever it was, but that would have taken some resources to do that. But the guy like runs and then decides to come back and want to shoot it out with the cops. Again, I think he thought he was maybe back in the war or something that he never existed in.
So he's in the field. And what I like about this part is the deputies had really good communication with the air unit and the other officers on scene. And they had good discipline, and they stopped short, and they were still in the middle of the road because you see all that dust everywhere, and they didn't penetrate into the dust, which I thought was good discipline so they can have a view all around. And then they start taking cover behind their car because immediately the suspect starts shooting at them. And then they start to communicate like, hey, shots fired, get your rifle. And then they end up trying to get in a position where they could protect themselves behind the cover of the car.
Yeah, and I just want to speak real quick on the K-9 guy who got his rifle out of the trunk, because there's always going to be people that are going to say, well, why is this rifle in the trunk?
Yeah.
And the thing is he's a dog handler, so me being a prior dog handler, our rifles can't necessarily always fit in the cab of the car with us because you got the K-9 cage and it's not set up like a normal patrol car. But usually, other than that, I mean, the K-9 guy's role is usually going to have the dog with him, right? So like if he's going to hop out and if he's in a situation where he needs his rifle, you're going to have cover guys that are going to take that role of being rifle guys, right? So, I mean, it's not always practical as a K-9 guy to have your rifle in the car with you. So that's why I believe he's getting out of the car, and that's why his rifle's stowed in the lockbox in the back. And you know what? Hats off to him, because he was able to get that lockbox open under an intense amount of stress and get his rifle out, rack it, and he's good to go. So, I've actually been in a situation like that where being shot at, and then I had to go also into the trunk of my car and get the rifle out. And when you have to undo a lockbox, that's kind of the last thing you want to have to do. So hats off to him for being able to do that. And then, yeah, I agree. They got cover. The air unit did play a super vital role in this because they have no clue where this dude's at. And if you can hear in the video, we can't play it because YouTube will censor it. But I mean, that round is close. To hitting those guys. I mean, it's like you can hear it, and that's scary, right? That'll make you pucker. So I think they did good of just kind of like, all right, this is where we're at. This dude's not running away from them. He's actually bringing the fight to them because he could have just ran off into no man's land, and he didn't. So that's concerning.
Well, I like the communication. When the K-9 officer was pulling his rifle out, the other officer recognized that, ran right up next to him, and he verbally says, hey, I got you. And he's providing cover for him. I mean, that's good communication and teamwork right there.
Okay, so almost 15 minutes goes by, and literally this dude is still in the orchard shooting at these deputies. They try to give him announcements over the PA to surrender, and that almost instigates him to shoot back at him. He then points the gun at the helicopter and fires around towards the helicopter, and they put out like, hey, they think he's shooting at him. So I mean, that's super risky for those guys. You know, if a round were to hit that helicopter, not good for them. So these deputies are, you know, doing their best they're waiting for a Bearcat to show up and the SWAT team. Not a whole lot they can do at this point other than, you know, keep cover. And if you can get a shot off, then get a shot off.
And you could see the suspect literally goes prone out in that orchard. Like, to me, that's pretty scary. His mindset is he's in a war, or he's in a video game, or he's watching a bunch of cop videos. Something's going on, but he is proned out, and that's a scary position because he might be trying to take an accurate shot.
Yeah.
And who knows at that point if he's playing possum, if he's trying to surrender, or if he's actually shooting at them at some point.
Shoots their car even.
Yeah. I mean, the one deputy's like, he just shot our tire out.
Yeah.
So in the car, the Tahoe ended up getting shot 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. This dude is not in the right frame of mind. So whoever's on scene, the supervisor that's giving updates, he did a great job. He's just kind of telling everybody updates like, hey, the Bearcat's en route, tactical team's en route, maintain your position of cover. So let's talk about when the Bearcat arrives and how this thing concludes.
So the suspect is starting to low crawl or do something.
He's like Groucho walking through the bushes towards them.
I know, it's wild. And then you see the armored vehicle come up, and I like how they were identifying it, saying Linco's here. And really, we got to point out, thinking outside the box, is you got the 2 deputies proned out under the Tahoe, and then they even have that additional shield set up by the rim just for additional cover. I mean, that's good, spot on thinking outside the box.
Yeah, using all their tools available to them.
Yeah, in the environment that you're in, and you're actively being shot at. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, and I want to point out too, you know, that those deputies are in a prone. It's freaking hot outside. Like that asphalt is not, you know, that's hot. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to be uncomfortable in these situations if you're gonna want to win the gunfight.
Oh yeah. And then the one deputy is saying, all right, Linco's moving up. It's moving up, which is great communication for the guy that's proned out on the ground. That's just literally looking at the suspect, and they're communicating, hands behind his back. He's moving towards us. And then at one point the suspect points a gun at him. And then the one in the turret and the proned officer end up both taking basically simultaneous shots and hitting the suspect. And it was disciplined. It was just calculated shots. It wasn't excessive fire. It wasn't just everybody shooting. It was absolute discipline. It was good communication.
Yeah. 2 guys shot, calculated shots, and put them down. That's the end result. I mean, and then, you know, these guys do a great job of utilizing the Bearcat to make their approach of the suspect. They had the K9 out. They had their less lethal options out. The gun was next to him. You don't know if he's got a second gun. This dude is a maniac, and you don't know what he's capable of. So I love the idea of utilizing the Bearcat as cover, doing a slow approach, and, you know, ultimately, you know, finally taking this dude into custody.
But right before they did, he wasn't responding and doing what they were asking him to do. And then one of them had the wherewithal to think outside the box and say, hey, someone give him commands in Spanish, because he's not doing what we want him to do.
Subject is still moving, not following commands.
Subject still moving, not following commands.
Yeah, speak Spanish. If you guys want to try to get Spanish now, since he's not really doing what we're telling him, if you guys want to try that.
Señor, por favor, pon tus 2 manos arriba. Put both your hands up in the air. Hands in the air.
Give it to him in Spanish. And then they did. And then you could see there was no real difference. And then they went back to English. And then that's when they were able to take him into custody. But I like the recognizing he's not doing what we're telling him. Let's do it in a different language.
Yeah. The one thing I would point out is if you guys heard in the audio where they say that they're going to light him up.
Okay. 1033, we'll light it up.
That's a self-discipline thing of maybe not wanting to say over the radio when you're going to conduct a vehicle stop. Only because if it does turn out into a shooting, you don't want some attorney to say, hey, you already had the pre-notion of, you know, shooting my client when you use the term light him up. So that's just a kind of a minor thing, maybe to pay attention to the next time you're going to do a high-risk traffic stop or a felony stop or whatever. You know, I know you're going to dictate the place that you're going to pull the vehicle over. That's fine. But maybe don't use the term light them up, you know, just say, hey, we're going to conduct a stop here.
Yep.
Just to avoid that.
I agree. I think that's really in this one. The only thing I noticed is really it could do better.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I thought, hey, you guys did a great job.
Yeah. Nice work.
Glad no citizens got hurt on that one. I mean, that could have been really bad. That dude was out to lunch for sure. I mean, so anyways, that's going to take care for today's body cam breakdown. And again, job well done.
Yeah, nice work, guys.
All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. See you later.
Bye.